Good morning, Tunkhannock Area High School. Welcome to Hero Talk. I am Maddie Nestor.
Take off the hat.
We talked about this. You said I was allowed to wear it.
Stop, Maddie.
What? I can't get a break. Good morning and welcome to Hero Talk. I'm Maddie Nestor.
I'm not the line to separate a person of good character from a hero.
I feel that a hero must overcome something significant enough to change their character. They also must not only change their own life, but other people's lives as well.
In my opinion, a hero must fight some sort of battle in order to achieve that title of a hero.
And these heroes also do what they feel is right, no matter how many obstacles tend to get into their way. Heroes will not always be heroic because opportunities do not always present themselves. Heroes are made from their situations.
I do not believe that anyone is born a hero. I believe that heroes are made from circumstances and experiences.
Hi, I'm Ariel Becerra, and today we're interviewing Miss Harvey. So our first question is, what qualities or skills are required in heroes?
The most important skill I would say for a hero to possess would be selflessness, the willingness and the ability to put others before oneself, even in times where it would be more comfortable or easier to put yourself first.
Our second question is, does a heroic person always behave as a hero?
Their behavior might not always be perceived as being heroic, but a true hero always does what they consider the right thing for the situation, but others may perceive their behavior as being non-heroic.
Are heroes born or made?
Heroes are made. There's no way someone can be born a hero. We're all born with the ability to act as heroes, but it's how we're raised that creates the true spirit of a hero.
Why are heroes important?
They're important in our society because they show others how to be selfless, how to do the right thing, how to stand up for what you believe in.
The last question is, what's the difference between a good person and a hero?
Well, a good person does the right thing. A heroic person does the right thing. But I don't think all good people are heroes because not everybody is put in situations where they have to necessarily do the right thing forsaking their own possibly safety or security.
Thank you, Ariel. One of my personal favorite things that we've done so far in this show is probably Mrs. Harvey's interview where she talked about that a hero cannot be born a hero. A hero must go through some sort of struggle or hardship, and they don't just sit by and watch the injustice happen. And it kind of reminded me of this one quote from Hope and Despair and Memory by Elie Wiesel, where he quotes, "There may be times then when we are powerless to prevent injustice, but must never be a time when we fail to protest," which I think just relates perfectly to what she said about not watching things go by. Maybe it's just a small act of generosity and helping other people out, but any good act may be described as hero.
Yeah, and going off of what you were saying about heroes having to go through tough times and stuff, we all know Ellen DeGeneres, and at her 2009 commencement speech at Tulane University, she described her time at rock bottom, and she said, "What's the worst that could happen? I can lose my career. I did. I lost my career. The show was canceled after 6 years without them even telling me. The phone didn't ring for 3 years. I had no offers." But as we can see, she really developed afterwards to do all these small, great deeds that could be described as heroic.
How like a hero can really hit that rock bottom and come back for it even better than how they started.
And if anything, that rock bottom tends to inspire them to end up being an even better hero and do even more greater deeds.
Why are heroes important?
I think they're important to just show everyone what they should end up being.
What's the difference between a good person and a hero?
I feel like a good person can do good things, just like, hey, if you drop that paper just like this, I can bend over and pick it up. And that's not really a heroic thing because that's just being a good person. Well, a heroic thing, I don't know, let's say like a kid somehow wound up in like a tree. Well, if you get the kid out of the tree, I guess that could be more heroic.
What qualities or skills are required in heroes?
I feel like one huge quality is that they put themselves before other people.
And the last question is, does a heroic person always behave as a hero?
I don't think so because opportunities don't always present themselves. Unfortunately, Mr. Kaiser did not have the time available in his day to just sit down, so we ended up doing a written interview with him. And one of the questions we asked him was, what qualities or skills are required in heroes?
he answered by saying, heroes must overcome adversity, able to make control of situations, and they are recognized and appreciated for their strengths and abilities. I agree with that, but I think sometimes they aren't recognized for their strengths and abilities. Sometimes they can be that unsung hero, which really relates to Tuesdays with Maury, because I think that Maury isn't your typical hero. He's not out like saving lives, but he is really important to somebody else, and I think sometimes that can be a hero. This quote from Tuesdays with Maury was, "For all that was happening to him, his voice was strong, inviting, and his mind was vibrating with a million thoughts. He was intent on proving the world where dying was not synonymous with useless." So I think that even though he was really weak, he was still trying to be himself. I asked him, what is the difference between a good person and a hero?
And he ended up responding with that people with good character will do the right things, but they may not rise to the level of a hero. And one quote that I feel like I can really go off of, especially with what he said there, is in Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. He said, "A man who calls his kinsmen to a feast does not do so to save them from starving." So it's a good deed to ask his kinsmen to come in for a feast, and he gives them food and stuff, and they ended up giving him respect in return. But if they're all starving, that's not going to save them from that, because that's one small thing.
Hi, we're here with Jordan Smith, and we're going to interview her. So, Jordan, Nora from A Doll's House says, "I must make up my mind which is right, society or I." What do you think society's view of a hero is?
I feel like society thinks that heroes should be courageous and do things that are like outlandish that a normal person would never do.
Do you think heroes are born or made?
I think heroes are made because I feel like the experiences they go through in life show their heroic side.
And now let's relate this to the recent meeting between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. We saw that heroic actions go a long way, and we saw how Donald Trump ended up going there and then did a heroic action, and now we're not threatened by nuclear war anymore. We obviously don't know how the future of all this will play out, but that was a heroic deed. And Eli Wiesel in Hope, Despair, and Memory said that mankind needs more peace than ever, for our entire planet threatened by nuclear war is in danger of total destruction. And by him doing that heroic deed, that sort of saved us, at least momentarily, from that fear.
And I think that quote, it's kind of an allegory for our society now, because there's so much like conflict going on with protests and different people coming to power. I think this quote is really like universal with what is going on in the world right now.
Peace happening.
That's all for tonight's episode of Hero Talk. I'll see you the same time tomorrow. I'm Matthew Lee.
I'm Maddie Nestor, signing off.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Brother is my hero.
My hero is my mother. My mother is 87 years old. She worked until she was 82 years old full-time for Allied Services as a supervisor in the workshop for special needs students from the Intermediate Unit 19 Scranton area-ish. But she's my hero because my father died when I was 15, and she raised 4 teenagers. We all have happy, successful lives. She did it on her own. We lived in a bedroom house. It was a 2-room house, had 1 bedroom and a kitchen, no running water, and she made it happen. And I can't look up to anybody greater. She is absolutely my role model.
My hero is Mrs. Karen Kudish because she's an awesome biology teacher. She loves planet Earth and she fights for what's right.
My hero is Neil deGrasse Tyson because he stands up for science and he brings science to the common person by making it both understandable and interesting, and I appreciate that.
My wife is my everyday hero.
All right, if I were to select one person throughout history to be my role model, it would have to be Jesus Christ. I've learned to have a relationship with him, and it's a historical figure that I really look up to.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's true, and my husband is actually one of my heroes.
Alright, so my hero, funny story, when I was in 1st grade, I had to write a My Hero essay, and
So I had no idea what to write about, and all these kids had these awesome stories. And so I was like, what's my best story? And so I thought back, and I remembered the one time that my uncle hit me with a snowmobile on accident. But you know, I almost broke both my legs. It was very traumatic. And I wrote about my uncle who carried me into the house after he hit me with a snowmobile. So that was my hero in 2nd grade. But not really a depiction of a good hero. So my real hero was, which I should have written the story about, was my older brother. We're only about 1.5 years apart, and he has been my hero since even way before I got hit by a snowmobile. He was actually the one who carried me into the house, and he was only like a centimeter taller than me at that point, so he must have really been, you know, struggling. But he's so inspirational. He has been inspiring me for so many years and has always pushed me to get involved in sports, and he is just the happiest, most joyful person you'll ever meet, and will anybody that you're around, everybody just lights up when they're around him, and he's my hero because he has just been there for me my entire life. He's my best friend.
Until Jordan and Ariel presented me with this question, who is my hero, I really have given no thought to that in my life. I've never really thought about who my heroes are, but I do notice about myself that people that I surround myself with, whether they are near to me and my friends or my coworkers or my family, or people that I surround myself with and are far and I don't really know, and just kind of admire from afar. There are many things that I watch them do and how they handle themselves with other people or handle situations in their lives that I like to admire some of those qualities, that I'm really in awe of maybe how they handle situations or handle sad events or handle hard times. So though I don't really have anyone who is my hero, I try to just really be appreciative of the things that I appreciate about other people that I notice them doing.
Oh, hello there. My hero is Ruby Bridges. She, at 6 years old, was the first African-American girl to walk across the protest lines and enter a school which was no longer segregated. She's one of my heroes.